Standard 10, Unit 2.5. Let's March, Kailash Satyarthi. A little information about our author, Kailash Satyarthi. Kailash Satyarthi, 1954, is an Indian children's rights and education advocate and an activist against child labor. He founded the Bachpan Bachao Andolan in 1980 and has acted to protect the rights of more than 83,000 children across 144 countries. He has been honored with many awards, including Nobel Peace Prize of 2014. This lesson, Let's March, is a speech that Kailash Satyarthi had addressed on the eve of the Nobel Prize distribution ceremony. We shall first read the lesson. My dear children of the world, Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, dear brother Tom Harkin, brothers and sisters, and my dear daughter Malala. From this podium of peace and humanity, I am deeply honored to recite a mantra from the ancient texts of wisdom, Vedas. This mantra carries a prayer, an aspiration, and a resolve that has the potential to liberate humanity from all man-made crises. Let's walk together in the pursuit of global progress. Not a single person should be left out or left behind in any corner of the world, from east to west, from south to north. Let's speak together. Let our minds come together, learning from the experiences of our ancestors. Let us together create knowledge for all that benefits all. I bow to my late parents, to my motherland India, and to the Mother Earth. As we know that Kailash Satyarthi is an activist against child labor and also an advocate for education. He founded the Bachpan Bachao Andolan and he was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize of 2014. And this speech was addressed by him on the eve of the Nobel Prize distribution ceremony. So here in this picture, you see him standing on the podium of peace and humanity, and he is addressing the children of the world, the excellencies, all the distinguished members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, Tom Harkin. There's also Malala there. And he begins his speech by reciting a mantra from the ancient texts of wisdom, the Vedas. He says that the mantra carries a prayer, an aspiration. Aspiration is an ardent wish or desire, and a resolve that has the ability or the potential to liberate, to free humanity from all man-made crises. And he is addressing the world. He's telling everyone present over there that we have to all walk together in the pursuit of global progress. Not a single person in the world, from east to west, from south to north, should be left out of education. We all have to speak together, our minds have to come together, and we have to learn from the experiences of our ancestors. We have to create knowledge that will benefit all. Nobody should be left behind from education. Every child has the right to education. With a warm heart, I recall how thousands of times I have been liberated. each time I have freed a child from slavery. In the first smile of freedom on their beautiful faces, I see the gods smiling. I give the biggest credit of this honor to my movements, Kalu Kumar, Dhoom Das, and Adarsh Kishore from India, and Iqbal Masi from Pakistan, who made the supreme sacrifice for protecting the freedom and dignity of children. I humbly accept this award on behalf of all such martyrs, my fellow activists across the world, and my countrymen. My journey from the great land of Lord Buddha, Guru Nanak, and Mahatma Gandhi, India to Norway is a connect between the two centers of global peace and brotherhood, ancient and modern. Friends, the Nobel Committee has generously invited me to present a lecture. Respectfully, I am unable to do that because I am representing here the sound of silence, the cry of innocence, and the face of invisibility. I represent millions of those children who are left behind, and that's why I have kept an empty chair here as a reminder. I have come here only to share the voices and dreams of our children because they are all our children. I have looked into their frightened and exhausted eyes. I have held their injured bodies and felt their broken spirits. In this paragraph, Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience that with a warm heart he recalls how thousands of times he has liberated a child from slavery. And after he has liberated them from slavery, he sees the first smile of freedom on their beautiful faces. And he says that when he sees the first smile of freedom on their faces, he sees the face of God. He sees the God smiling. He also tells the audience that the biggest credit of this honor goes to these three martyrs, Kalu Kumar, Adarsh Kishore, Dhoom Das from India, and Iqbal Masi from Pakistan. Now, all these three, Kalu Kumar, Adarsh Kishore, and Dhoom Das, they laid down their lives in the line of duty. The duty was the fight against bonded labor or child labor. Kalu Kumar was also a child laborer. He worked in a carpet factory in Madhya Pradesh and he was freed by Kailash Satyarthi's Bachpan Bachao Andolan. And then he continued to work along with Kailash Satyarthi as an activist against bonded labor. Even Adarsh Kishore and Dhoom Das, they were also activists against child labor. They gave their lives, they laid down their lives in this line of duty. Iqbal Masih was also a debt bonded slave. He was sold to a carpet factory because his parents had taken a loan and he worked there in that carpet factory for long hours with very little salary, with a very little wage. And he knew that he would have to work all through his life because he wouldn't be able to pay back the loan. So he escaped from there and he joined the bonded labor liberation front of Pakistan to help stop child labor around the world. So he also became a prominent face of the anti-slave movement. So he was also an activist against child labor. So Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience here at this Nobel Peace Prize distribution ceremony that he is accepting this award on behalf of all these martyrs and all the fellow activists across the world and his countrymen. He further tells the audience that he comes from the great land of Lord Buddha, Guru Nanak, and Mahatma Gandhi, and that India and Norway is a connect between two centers of global peace and brotherhood. He tells the members of the Nobel Committee who had invited him to present a lecture that he is unable to do so, but he's representing here, he has come here representing the sound of silence. The sound of silence is the unheard plea of the deprived children and people children who are deprived of their right to live, children who are deprived of the right of education. So he says, I represent that sound of silence. I'm representing that cry of innocence and the face of invisibility. Face of invisibility is unnoticed suffering of the poor and the innocent. So he tells the audience that he is representing the sound of silence, the cry of innocence, and the face of invisibility. And he's representing all those children who are left behind from the right to education and the right to live a life of dignity, and has therefore kept an empty chair as a reminder. He tells the audience that he has come here to share the voices and dreams of all the children of the world. We know that Kailash Satyarthi was a activist fighting against child labor, and he frees children from bonded labor. And whenever he has freed children from bonded labor, he has seen their frightened and exhausted eyes. He has held their injured bodies and he has felt their broken spirits. So he tells the audience that I have come here to share the voices and dreams of all these children. I have come here to represent millions of these children who are left behind from the right of education and the right to live a life of dignity. 20 years ago, in the foothills of the Himalayas, I met a small, skinny child laborer. He asked me, is the world so poor that it cannot give me a toy and a book instead of forcing me to take a gun or a tool? I met with a Sudanese child soldier. He was kidnapped by an extremist militia. As his first training lesson, he was forced to kill his friends and family. He asked me, what is my fault? Friends, all the great religions teach us to care for our children. Jesus said, let the children come to me. Do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to them. The Holy Quran says, kill not your children because of poverty. Friends, there is no greater violence than to deny the dreams of our children. Therefore, I refuse to accept that all the temples and mosques and churches and prayer houses have no place for the dreams of our children. I refuse to accept that the world is so poor when just 1 week of global military expenditure can bring all the children to classroom. I refuse to accept that all the laws and constitutions, police and judges are unable to protect our children. I refuse to accept that the shackles of slavery can ever be stronger than the quest for freedom. I refuse to accept here. In this paragraph, Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience that 20 years ago, in the foothills of the Himalayas, he met a skinny, thin child laborer. And that laborer asked Satyarthi that is the world so poor that it cannot give him a toy and a book? Instead of giving him a toy and a book, it has given him a gun or a tool. Kailash Satyarthi is citing examples here in this speech. Then he gives another example of having met a Sudanese child soldier. He was kidnapped by the extremist militia. Now, what is a militia? They are groups or cells or individuals who possess and use illegal weapons and explosives and conduct paramilitary training, and they advocate violence in furthering their beliefs, including the violent resistance to or overthrow a government. Now, in his first training lesson, this Sudanese child soldier was forced to kill his friends and families. And he asked Kailash Satyarthi, like, what was his fault? Kailash Satyarthi then tells the audience that no religion of the world teaches us not to care for children. All great religions teach us to care for children. Here, he cites example from the Bible where he says that Jesus said, let children come to me, do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to children. Even the Holy Quran says that We must not kill our children because of poverty. So he cites example from the Bible, from the Quran, and he tells the audience that there is no greater violence than to deny the dreams of our children. He further tells them that he refuses to accept that all the temples, mosques, and churches have no place for dreams of children. He also refuses to accept that the world is so poor that it cannot bring all the children to the classroom. When they spend 1 week of global military expenditure can bring all the children to the classroom. He refuses to accept that all the laws and constitution, police and judges are unable to protect our children. He also tells the audience that he refuses to accept that the chains that bind us into slavery are stronger than the quest for freedom.